And with the option of virtual attendance, any person interested can go online and access through the town website. So with that, we have a quorum of 3. Roy, Eric, and I. And we don't have anybody online, right, at this point in time, but we will.
Correct. Karsten Stuber will be joining around 5:45 on
right.
GoToMeeting.
Do a virtual tag-in.
Yep.
So we'll move right into, you want to go to public hearing number 1?
Well, we gotta wait a few minutes because
You
we
want
got,
to do the
Oh, we
statement?
have, yeah, okay.
You want to do the statement?
Yeah, go ahead, read that.
Okay. Opening statement for public hearings. In the interest of saving time, the Sturbridge Conservation Commission will hold all public hearings tonight for work within a wetland, water body, or resource area and/or within the 200-foot buffer zone to a wetland, water body, or resource area, in accordance with the Mass Wetland Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and associated regulations, and the Town of Sturbridge wetland bylaws and associated regulations. We will not be reading the newspaper ad. Prior to the opening, the first hearing for each project, the applicant is to submit proof of notification to abutters within 200 feet of the subject property line and proof of legal newspaper advertisement. If these items are not submitted, the public hearing will not open. Additionally, prior to the start of each public hearing, we will announce the location of the project, the applicant, and the applicant's representative. If any of the visitors have not legibly signed in yet, please do. Also, if any visitors are recording this meeting, please let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, Roy.
so just for the record, for the continued public hearings, Roy Bishop has completed the Mullins form for the January 26, 2023 meeting that he missed, so we can participate in those.
Thanks, Becky.
Mr. Chair, can I make a suggestion? Since we have quorum with the right members, that we do our minutes first, just to make sure they don't get missed?
You can only do one meeting with these 3 members.
Oh,
We only have one that we can do with these 3?
Yeah.
oh.
Which one is that?
Which one is that?
That's still a good suggestion.
It is, yeah.
12-5.
All right, well then, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from December 5th, 2022.
I second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Well,
With,
1 out
I
of
mean,
3 ain't bad.
With Roy watching the meeting, he technically wasn't here, but I don't know.
You could, yeah.
If he felt comfortable, you could also, I guess, approve the January 26th. It was Ted,
Sign the Mullen.
it was Ed, Eric, and Ted in attendance, but Roy did watch the meeting and filled out a Mullins, so I suppose if he felt comfortable, he could.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 26th, 2023.
I second that.
Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
And Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, so we just have one?
So what do we do about the 5th? Oh, was Ted was here.
We didn't have Ed, and he
Right.
didn't do a Mullins, so I
Oh,
don't have, I need 3. I
Yep.
need Ted.
We can do it at the next meeting.
we can do it with Ted, right, yep.
Yeah.
We conducted so much business during that meeting.
I know.
All right, well, we are at 5:05, sorry about that. 698 Main Street, notice of intent, continued, commercial building with associated parking and utilities, DEP file number 300-1144. All right, the applicant is Interstate Towing, representative is Greg Kowalski, but he's not here. Okay. All right, John?
Greg is going to be a few minutes late. Thank you guys for accommodating us pulling it earlier. It's symbiotic, right? So, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, everybody. So,
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, you.
I was going to say, we have presented a few times in the last few meetings. I think all of you have seen it at least once. And the peer review engineer has commented, and if you we're happy to re-present or go over it if you want to, or it's up to you.
Eric, you need anything?
I think I'm good unless there was something that has developed in the last few weeks that Becky wanted to bring to our
No,
attention.
there's been no change, so,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. No, then I'm good.
Nothing.
And my only issue was the slope on the hillside. And I think I'll forego that,
Okay.
all right?
All right, so what I had recommended for conditions, so I'd vote to move this forward and close the public hearing and issue orders of conditions pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act with our standard conditions. Prior to start of work, there'd be environmental monitor established to do, I think we had bi-weekly construction monitoring of the project. Also, prior to the start of work, they'd submit the EPA notice of intent and completed SWIP to our office. They'd also submit the annual O&M budget and signed illicit discharge statement. And then we'd have perpetual conditions here for the stormwater structure and the fence, the privacy fence for wildlife in the back and on the side that's going to be installed. And then there'd be also evidence of maintenance of the stormwater system shall be provided to the condition on an annual basis. In addition, under the bylaw, with the conditions I just noted, we'd also have a surety bond that would be provided that is released upon the issuance of the certificate of compliance for the project.
Wanna go to the public?
I beg your
Public?
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Anybody in the public like to speak to this?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
None?
Hearing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to DEP file number 300-1144 at 698 Main Street, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the notice of intent for, and issue an order of conditions with the agent's notes under the Wetlands Protection Act.
I second that.
Any discussion? We could always bring Glenn in and slow the meeting down a little bit, or we can just go ahead and blend.
I have a few words I could say.
No, that's all right.
I'm sure you always could.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to DEP file number 300-1144 at 698 Main Street, under the Sturbridge Wetlands bylaw, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the order of conditions with the notes from the agent stated above under the Wetland Protection Act and the note regarding the surety bond.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. So,
Thank you,
passes.
gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all
Appreciate it.
very much.
Look forward to working with you.
Thanks.
Appreciate your patience.
No problem.
Well, what have we got, we can do between now and,
Glenn, did you want to give a quick update on the Empire Buffet?
Thank you.
Yep.
Almost, it's something
All right,
else.
thanks, guys. Have a good night. I'll see you.
soon.
Okay, take care.
Empire Village.
This is, yeah, 446 Main Street.
Thank you. This is just an update. The plan is nearly complete. We did have Joe Levesque go out and pick up the features, the top of the slope of the water quality swale, the check dams within the swale, 12 to 13 feet across. We did clear out the upper part of the swale down to where we met water. The original outflow elevation, 577.33. We did find that the original corrugated metal pipe. I'll back up just a bit. This is an order of conditions that was never closed out. So the commission has it. It's quite a few years old. I don't have that off the top of my head. 10 years anyways. Over that. And so he didn't close it out, and they didn't maintain the water quality swale. It was supposed to be mowed once a year, 4 inches off the ground to make sure that the vegetation, as far as the cattails and the sedges and rushes, still live, so that they would take out nutrient. That was actually written in your order, so don't cut it too short, 4 inches. So when we went back in, we cleared the vegetation on the upper part, which was not underwater. We cut it off, mowed it, took it away. It was just taken away by Jerry. I call it Jerry Empire, is my name for the gentleman. And we're ready within another week, I would say, to finalize the plan. We did talk to a couple of beaver trappers. We're going to have a perpetuity ask for that, and I think the commission's going to require a perpetuity condition that's going to say that we maintain that water elevation so it doesn't flood anyone out, which was one of the issues. Presently, there is no beaver activity down there, but we hear they're upstream, and that they'll most likely come back down in. So this will be a long-term maintenance, and we would work to trap them during the trapping season and keep them out so they don't flood the daycare center next to us. There was one last thing I'd say. There was some question about the asphalt parking area, whether or not it was now shedding water towards the daycare. We looked at it, we talked to Jerry, we see the tarogenite in the cracks. We had never changed the asphalt. It wasn't repaved, so that was historically the asphalt that was there prior to building. So we're not, so if there's some shedding during rain events, some small shedding of water, that's the way it had been. We didn't raise it up so it's shedding it now. We'll make sure all the water everything that we have draining to the back goes into the water quality swale, gets cleaned up, and eventually, this was a redevelopment project. There was something there before. This just, the building is new. So once we finalize the plan, we'll file a new notice of intent with these other features in it, long-term maintenance that we'll bring in, and then hopefully I'll be able to close out the old order at the same time that the new order is being issued, whatever the sequence is that the commission wants.
That's a good question. So, based on your professional opinion, was the plan, if it was adhered to,
Yes, sir.
would have it performed appropriately and would we have not had these issues? Or do you think that there should have been a change to the plan originally?
The water quality swale, the only issue that I found, and we did verify this, that the lower part of the swale that was created is in the water. When the water's up of that brook, the original corrugated metal pipe invert elevation for the outflow for the swamp, that is what we have out there now. We shot it. We actually put it's a stainless steel pipe at the 2 feet above the elevation of the outflow. So in the future, this is driven into the ground. We shot it so that in the future, when we do get beavers coming back in, we'll always know what that original elevation was for the outflow of the swamp, so we can keep it down. So that feature is going to be on the plan too. As far as the swale working, it does, because the water drops to the back. It just needs to be maintained, and he never mowed it. So there will be a long-term maintenance, as was written originally in the order, and that's why we didn't feel that we needed to ask to go clean the swale, because that was a condition that was in perpetuity. So we did mention it to Ms. Gendreau, and we did go and clean it, just so that we could find the features and see the upper slope, and then we laid the original Andrew Surveying and Engineering plan on top of what we had now, and it matches. So it seems like the contractor was following by the book of what was permitted. And it's just receiving the runoff, and it goes to the back of the lot and then drains out to the brook. So for a redevelopment project, maximum extent practicable is what they did for stormwater, and that we see that it does function. It drains to the rear. The majority, a little bit of it, if you're facing the building, does shed off to the abutter, but again, that was the original. There was no proposal and no evidence, and I talked to Jerry, he never repaved. I already said that once before. So that was the main issue of not shedding it to somebody else if it wasn't already going there, but it had been going there.
Okay.
Yes. And as far as like the flow devices that were put in.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of beaver issues in that area and had a specialist out there before, and flow devices can't work in that area, so it's really something where they just gotta change, a plan there, and that's why he'll be submitting the new notice of intent for the new plan on how to manage them out there too, with keeping dams, being able to go out and breach them when necessary, so.
Long-term maintenance, if
Yeah,
I
a
could,
long-term,
through Jimmy, right?
yep.
Right. Because the flow device, the problem with a flow device, when it's sitting at the elevation of the existing swamp, they'll just clog it. The only ones that we have working are the ones at United Rental Fluid Solutions, the old Baker Tank in Oxford. There's one in Sutton. It's hanging over the water. The beaver can't get up there to clog the cage. But when they're sitting on organic or on the bottom, they just bring it up and just clog the cage, and then it starts going up, building the dam.
How far back do you have access?
They own a good chunk of that big swamp. don't have the map. I tried to get it before I came here, but I was running out, I was worried I was gonna be late, so I don't have the map. I will send Rebecca the draft.
They haven't bothered you about, if you want to go back there, you can, right?
Yes, the old cart road, remember there was a cart road with lights on it? Yeah, we can go all the way back. We haven't seen any,
Yeah, their property goes back pretty far. There's an
Pretty far.
easement for that cart road.
You're absolutely correct. It's a maintenance. It's like living in Holland. I mean,
yeah, you've got to every year.
you got to maintain it. That's
Right,
all there is to it.
and that's what is gonna be our long-term, we're gonna write it up, and then apparently the commission will verify our long-term maintenance possibly, and then we'll just, these people have to come in every year and do their maintenance.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you again, appreciate your time.
Any questions?
Thank you again. Thank you.
Glenn, you headed home? You don't have any more on the calendar?
No,
Oh, just checking.
not tonight, but tomorrow night.
All right, take care.
Nothing on Friday, that's right, sorry.
All right, we've got Mount Dan, 6:15, so Mount Dan Road. Notice of intent, continuing notice of intent, raise and rebuild a single-family home. DE number 300-1135. Deborah Weber, Lenny Jalbert. Lenny, you all ready to rock and roll here?
Okay. Leonard Jalbert from Jalbert Engineering. And what we're here for tonight is the property located on 16 Mount Dan Road. Do you have the plans up or nothing?
I forget.
Do you want me to put the
Yeah.
I
plan up?
don't know, I don't know if you want it. We've gone over it many times, and if you don't, I personally think it's a waste.
I want to make sure that they pay you, so we'll take a look at them, all right?
Oh, they paid me already.
This isn't the colored version, this is the,
And just as just a refresher, our last time, we had provided you a supplement narrative to the project and had responded to other questions that were asked prior to.
I don't have any further questions.
Becky, you have any questions?
I don't have any questions or comments.
No?
Nope, I'm good.
No, I don't either.
Okay, so if the commission is ready to move forward, I'd recommend closing the hearing, voting to approve it. So under the Wetlands Protection Act, our standard conditions, with this, I added submitted arborist report demonstrating that the landscape plantings have been installed in compliance with the approved plans, which would also include a review of health of landscape plantings post-installation for success for 2 additional growing seasons with deceased plants to be replaced. That's similar to what was done for one of the last projects that was similar to this. For the bank work, all activities which are located within areas that are subject to high water shall only occur in low water conditions during lake drawdown. Toe of stairs must end at existing toe of bank, and the applicant is required to receive all other permitting, including a Chapter 91 license if required. Application to DEP required prior to start of work or negative determination. A phased erosion control plan to be developed for the various phases of the construction here, since we'll be working in some different areas, making it easier instead of going around the whole site with the erosion controls. We can kind of move that around a little bit, so that way we're protecting that swale, et cetera. So we can work that, that's something easy we can work out with that I would work out with the contractor. Trees within the work area, there are a good amount of trees that will still be left off to the side there. Just make sure those are protected during work to include the root zone. That's something similar we've done in the past. They can do some snow fencing or another material can be used around that root zone area to protect that area. Documentation of proper patio and stormwater structures per the plan and manufacturer's specifications to be provided. Any buried structures to be photographed before backfilling. And I'll go over that with the contractor on site just to make sure that that is done correctly. And then perpetual conditions for the stormwater structures they have on site. And under the local bylaw, the conditions that I just noted, in addition to the surety bond that we've been requiring for new single-family houses or raise and rebuilds, which can be either a bond through insurance or it's a cash bond.
Okay. Anybody in the audience like to speak to this?
Just one question. On the narrative that we provided, there was a question whether we could be allowed to put the stair off of the deck to the left or to the right. And I didn't know if that was gonna matter that much. We showed it off to the left.
To the left?
Yeah.
Where you had it?
It's just,
Is that a change? You
It
want
was-
to go to the right?
It was on the last plan, and he asked for it at the last meeting. I think it was mentioned at that time. I noted it in my notes, but at that time. It didn't look like it made a difference. It's not gonna encroach
not
it.
really a material difference.
Yeah, it's not gonna encroach it any closer to the resource area. One side showed where the boulders were, so you weren't sure if you were able to put it on that side.
No. Anybody have an issue with that?
Yeah, it didn't seem to make any,
All right.
Unless there's anybody with a strong objection, I think that's fine with me. Okay.
Hearing nothing from the audience, do you?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second that.
No discussion, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
Goodwin in favor?
With regards to DEP file number 300-1135 at 16 Mount Darren Road, I'd like to make a motion to issue an order of conditions with the agent's notes under the Wetlands Protection Act.
Second that.
Have a second? Discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to DEP file number 300-1135 at 16 Mount Dan Road, I'd like to make a motion to issue an order of conditions under the Sturbridge Wetland bylaws with the agent's notes above under the Wetland Protection Act and also the surety bond under the Sturbridge Wetland bylaw.
I second that.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Great. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Patience.
And I know the sisters are very much appreciative, since some of them are viewing, well, one of them is viewing tonight, the others are from Arizona, so.
Oh, they're warmer than we are.
Thank you.
Actually, it's quite nice the last couple days.
Actually, I called the person in Arizona the other day, and we were warmer here than they were, by a couple of degrees.
oh, no problem. Good to see you. Take care.
You done tonight, Lenny?
Yes,
Holy mackerel. huh?
Just one?
just, yep.
You gotta get to work. Go out and market it.
What's your son doing?
Last night with ZBA.
Yeah, because we don't have.
Is it 5:25?
here. You got a
Can't
minute.
even do anything until.
Yeah.
A few minutes, anything we want to fill in?
But we don't have anything we can use to fill in, really.
Really?
Well, I have a few things. We're gonna have a gap here because we have some continuations coming up, so,
Very long gap.
yeah.
A long gap.
So we going over to have a beer, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do they have like background music that we could just,
I brought my
Like,
wife
you're waiting
along,
on the
so,
phone?
yeah, I'm all set.
oh, you
Yeah.
can't open until your hearing time, so.
Yeah.
When people do last minute,
Yeah, we had some
we had some
last minute continuations.
Earlier yesterday, so we're trying to. I mean, we might as well at this point.
Yeah, it's 5.
5:25, 5:25 by my clock.
5:25 by your clock? All right, well, I'm willing to push it along here. You guys want to sit down, or?
We're gonna be asking for a continuance without opening, so.
Yeah, you can just
Yep.
use the
Oh.
mic there.
Brought the boss along, too, huh? All right, well then, you're going to ask for straight continuance
Yes, without opening,
without opening,
correct.
all right? Well, we can do that.
Well, for the record, I guess we'll just say I have all the abutter notifications and legal ad.
All right. Any questions?
Nope, if we're not opening, I'm good.
So the next meeting will be March 9th. The meeting will start at 6:30, so.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Well, get out of here.
All right, keep it short and sweet. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
See you in a couple.
So, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
Right, we didn't
Starting at
say, so
6:30?
that's the Lot 320 Fisk Hill project.
yep.
I should have said that. I'm sorry,
We're just postponing,
yeah, postponing.
yeah. Sorry to make you come out.
All right.
Thanks for the letter.
Excuse me,
Yes.
could you give him one of those sheets, please? That I had, right, they're right on you.
This one?
Yeah.
This whole packet?
What are you looking for?
He's here for that. What is
We
it?
didn't open anything.
Oh, never mind.
We didn't open, but. Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Right, because we did receive public comment, that's what you're
Yeah.
referring to, okay.
Well, now is that part of the record?
It will be. We did receive some public comment, so we'll post that
Yeah.
with the information for the next meeting so that everybody can have that.
All right. Well,
Wanted more old business?
yeah, any old business we can do.
Anything on the Carboy?
They're supposed to be coming in this evening. I
Oh,
mean, if they were
okay.
here by now, we could have them fill in some of that time. I do have a few things, so we can let me go through my file here. So just, so the commission's aware, the Trails Committee does have a few, scheduled hikes on our town properties. They don't require a, special event form to be filled out, for just, for these walks, especially because they're town events. But they just wanted to make everyone available of them, and we did send them along to Opakam. So they do have, that's why. On Sunday, April 16th, 2023, at 10 a.m. at Heinz Farm, the parking lot's at 197 Lead Mine Road. They'll be having 2 hikes. There's a beginner hike doing the Pond Loop, Stafford Turnpike, Cabin Loop back to the parking lot. The advanced, they'll go down onto the Lead Mine property. They'll do the Pine Lands, Lead Mine, Seven Ridges, Lead Mine, Link, Sawmill, the Unnamed Foundation Trail, Seven Ridges, an unmarked White Trail, the Mountain Laurel Trail, and then go back to the parking lot. And then on June 11th, they'll be meeting at the OSV Access Road parking lot that we have there. They'll be doing a beginner hike and an advanced hike Sunday, September 10th, at the Plimpton property, which is 277 New Boston Road. Again, they'll be doing a beginner and an advanced hike Sunday, December 3rd, 2023, at 10 a.m. at the Riverlands property, which the parking lot's at 52 Stallion Hill Road. Again, they'll be doing a beginner and an advanced hike there. So if anyone, it's rain or shine, appropriate footwear and water recommended. And then to check in with the Trails Committee if there's inclement weather there, so.
Yeah.
And just so you guys are aware, we did get those dog waste stations out, and people have been using them. It's been great. We haven't been finding as much waste on the trails out there.
Definitely
So,
less.
yep, a lot of compliments on that. So people are really happy about adding that. So we've started, just so you're aware too, we're looking into doing some story maps through ArcGIS for some of our trails. We actually went out to the trolley line. We'll be working with Ty and Bond, where it's an interactive map for people. So you can go out and you can, take a photo and upload a photo or put information, historical, anything about the environment. We'll be starting to work on those soon to get those out for the properties, so you're aware.
Awesome.
Good.
Has there been any movement on what Tommy and Brandon brought in front of us last fall? Are they gonna be bringing any notice of intent to us? Do
I
we
haven't
know?
been updated on that from them. I know they still have plans, but, I reached out to them and asked them what they had for a work schedule plan for this year. They didn't have anything planned at the time, and that, they didn't update me on where they are with those either, so.
Did they,
So we haven't got anything on the Riverland?
For new work that
New
they need
work.
permits, no. No.
So neither of those two loop trails? Haven't done it, we haven't gotten any.
The new trails they're proposing?
Yeah, were they out of the wetland?
I don't know. You're talking about the flow trails up on the hillside? I'm not sure if those require permitting at this point or not.
You had a question when we were out at the OSV access road entrance, the Sawmill Trail. There was a couple of new bridges there that you didn't think that there was any permits requested or issued. So we should probably just make sure we get that
Yeah, I
taken
agree.
care of. I don't think either of them are gonna be a problem. Probably should make sure we're in compliance.
Yeah. I'll check in with them.
I mean, they looked like they were done properly to me, so.
We did an open public hearing, but we still have a site visit on our calendar.
Should have said,
What?
should have told them he wanted to do that.
I'll coordinate that with them, right? We wanted to have a site visit out to the Blueberry Hills for the
Oh, yeah, Ted
new
wants to go.
members.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things is looking at switching the site visit date that would accommodate more people to be able to go out. Roy, I don't know if there's a day that's better for you or not. I recommended, at least for the next meeting, we do that on March 1st. It's a Wednesday. I know that Karsten has full days Tuesdays and Thursdays right now, with his work schedule this semester, so.
Yeah, what we did was we changed the next one to 6:30, right?
The next meeting.
So
needs
that
to
you
be
could
6:30.
attend it. But that's just a one-time. We gotta figure out how we wanna,
Well, that'll
Well, it
be
has to
through
for-
May,
Has to be for the next 3.
next three?
yeah.
Okay.
But site visit days, I don't know, Eric.
Eric, what's good for you as site visits?
Actually, Wednesdays are better than Tuesdays. I'm just looking right now, so I would say Wednesdays are better than Tuesdays.
What's you, Rod?
Wednesday morning would work.
Oh, all right, great,
Oh, hey.
yeah,
Earlier the better.
okay.
You guys are just trying to screw me up because I'm into I don't care which day it is, but I think Tuesdays.
Yeah. And I can do earlier, but I put the kids on the bus at 8, so the earliest I could be anywhere would be 8:15. So, I mean,
Yeah,
Roy just saying earlier the better,
That
but.
would be challenging for the staff.
Yeah, I mean, 8:45, if we could, if that gave a little more, that was better than 9, we could do that. Unfortunately, yeah, by the time I get everything.
You have the
get
same
going,
thing, right?
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. Yeah,
8:45 then?
9, make it 9. I
9,
mean,
okay.
yeah.
We don't want to change it up too much.
Wednesdays at 9, that's
Okay,
good.
so I'll send
9
it,
on March 1st.
yeah, and at least right now we'll have the Blueberry Hills project to go to. So I will make sure that an email goes out to everybody.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, Wednesday, the first, my first meeting I have to be at is noon, so that gives me the,
I mean, although we'll be at Blueberry Hills for quite a bit, and you've already gone.
I've already been there, so
Yeah.
I don't
not
necessarily
wanna
need
do
to see
that.
that, but.
We might not have anything else. We don't know. Our deadline's Tuesday for the next meeting, so right now we don't have anything.
Worst comes to worst, you guys could text me when you're leaving, and I could meet you someplace.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, but the Wednesdays actually take the pressure off. That's better.
Yeah. That's good.
I don't know why, but when Monday comes and then I get Tuesday morning meetings just stuffed down me, so Wednesdays, not so bad.
All right, ready?
All right, we're at 5:35, 14 Cedar Lake Drive. Continued notice of intent, construction of a garage. Owner applicant is Taylor Stedman. Representative is Dan Sadowski. DJ? Okay, gentlemen?
How was your trip? I can tell. We were all jealous.
Excellent. My name's Dave Sadowski. I'm sorry. I'm the
Those
principal.
lights are too close to each other, maybe.
Yeah.
That might be why you're getting that feedback here.
I didn't even notice it.
That's okay.
I have a bar room whisper. I'm sorry. My name's Dave Sadowski. I'm the principal at DJ and Associates, and I'm here with Mr. Stedman Taylor, and we're here to present a proposed garage. The garage has had, we've done 3 different plans for this garage, trying to make it a better project for the commission and make it a better project for everyone. When we first started, I met with Taylor. Taylor wanted to have the garage even with the back of the house. Almost back where the shed is, and I said, that'll never fly. And then we tried halfway up the building so we'd be able to leave the garage and go straight into the house. And I said, that's not gonna work either. So the first plan we submitted was at the corner where the deck and the house meet. And then, we talked about that was still too far. Then we came up and we were gonna slide it over halfway on the deck. Now we've finally taken it, and you can see how far down into the existing driveway we've moved it. Before, we were like 2 feet short of that driveway, and I believe, I don't know who the chair is, but the chair was on the sidewalk and said the garage should go up on the driveway, get it further away. So now we're 8.7 feet off the sideline. We have to be 15, so we have to go to zoning, but we've slid it forward as much as possible. We show the rain barrels that would be at the bottom of the gutters, and then he's got a sewer pump. And if you look up at that front left corner of the garage, next to it's a rim, and there's a sewer there, and that sewer goes into an ejector. And then further over, he's got a well. So he's kind of, if he's going to get the garage to work and still be able to get access into the house and everything else, we've tried to get the best spot possible. We show 2 new saplings to be planted. We show that shed to be removed. And that shed, 73 feet of that shed, square feet, we're in that 25-foot no-touch zone. And we're going to allow that to go back, restore itself to original growth that would be around the lake, so it will facilitate in protecting the natural resource. Also, that huge 42-inch oak is going to be removed. I guess the tree warden looked at it, and he said it should come down, and someone from the commission looked at it and said it probably should come down. There is a 6-inch pine next to it, but that tree would be the only tree removed. When that garage goes in, all that's there is either lawn or driveway. We've shown, I don't know if you saw the pictures of the rain barrels, like if I could approach the bench.
Sure. The bench.
This is a typical application of them. You can see that it feeds into the top, and there's a hose spigot that comes out the bottom. This is kind of like the attachment into the top. You come right down into it. And then over here, it shows how the feed goes in, and then there's a spigot at the bottom. So if there's ever a drought, you have all the water you want. You don't do any watering off your well or anything, and you release water. If a big storm's coming, you can release water then too. So you're constantly watering. Instead of recharging the aquifer, you're actually taking care of the grass, the plants, and everything else.
Architect.
I think it's a win-win situation to be able to trap water like that and use it. Other than maybe acid rain, it's clean water coming off the roof.
Yep.
So we're trying to use those alternative means of protecting the site. There's not going to be really any site work involved. The garage is just going to place itself right on that open area. The floodplain was put on the map, which was asked for us to put on. We're clearly out of the flood. And we show the property line, we show lot corners, everything is out there, it's established, and we show all the trees pretty much all the trees that exist on that piece of property. It's a small, irregular shape of property. We think it has a shot at zoning, but the zoning told us not even to come before them until we came here. So that's why we're here first, and I tried to do as much detail as I could on the plan, changing it 3 different times. So with that, I'm open to questions.
Becky?
Okay, so I think it's good, and I apologize because I wasn't able to get this to you in advance. They did get it to us before the end of last week. We just didn't get it out, so I figured we'd just wait to the meeting. I think they've worked to address all the comments on here, so if the board is satisfied, I'd recommend that you close the hearing and you can vote to approve the project. Just have our standard conditions, the addition to ensure that those 2 trees are included, include the rain barrels, some perpetual conditions just to maintain the drainage structures that they're proposing, the rain barrels there. Same thing under the wetland bylaw, and then if the board felt they wanted a surety bond for the project, that it would just be much smaller than what we've done for like new residential houses, maybe like a $500 bond versus the larger one that, for a whole new site construction, if you felt it was necessary, so.
Okay. Eric?
Just to confirm, those 2 green dots are where the 2 trees that you talked about are going?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any concerns about the placements? Becky?
That'd be pretty good. He's got a lot of trees there.
Yeah. And you said within the 25-foot where the shed is now, that's going to be allowed to revegetate.
Correct.
The part that isn't in the 25 and is within the 50, what is going to happen there?
Revegetate. The whole area is gonna revegetate.
That whole area, the whole, okay.
Through the chair, I don't want to overspeak.
Yeah.
No, that's all
English
right.
rules or whatever they are. I just wanted to show that at least 73 feet of it is within the 25, because you want us to specify the 25.
Yep.
Then specify the 50, but the whole 157 is going to be allowed to go back to natural vegetation.
Beautiful. No more questions.
Was this the project that was going to have a covered pathway from the garage to the house?
That's what I was gonna ask. If you didn't get your covered pathway.
Well, there is a little, see at the back of the garage right here, there's a little bump out there. That's to connect, right? To have that
Right,
covered walkway right there?
Yeah.
See a little bump out?
Yep.
I don't have a pointer, but with that.
Yes,
The drawings, what that looks like.
yeah, that was by bringing it as far forward as you did, we did an access door off the back of the garage so it could tie in right into that deck area.
So you'd be able to come out of,
Out of the garage and go over to the house.
Yeah.
And then get into
Or-
the house and be secure.
so if you wanna go down here, is
Gotta
there,
go
you
around.
gotta go all the way around the garage?
Or through the back door.
Yeah.
There's an existing back
Or the
door.
back
There's a back door on that deck.
That's what
too.
you want?
Yes.
Those probably were personal questions I was checking, because we talked a lot about, this way and that way, so I have no problem.
Okay.
Anybody in the audience like to speak to this? Seeing none, Eric, why don't you,
I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second that.
discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Dave Goodwin in favor?
With regards to DP file number 300-1151 at 14 Cedar Lake Drive, I'd like to make a motion that we issue a order of conditions with the agent's notes.
Did you guys want a bond for this size project? That's up to you.
Do we need to do that under Sturbridge wetland bylaws?
Yeah, this was under the.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yep.
Okay, I second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Dave Goodwin in favor.
With regards to DP file number 300-1151 at 14 Cedar Lake Drive under the Sturbridge wetland bylaw, I'd like to make a motion that we issue an order of conditions with the agent's notes, and I'm okay with waiving the performance bond on this one.
I second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Dave Goodwin in favor.
All set?
Yes, thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you very much. I know it's a volunteer position. Thank you for your time.
You can just, invite us down to your house and wherever you just were.
You mentioned Holland, and I was down in the Dutch Caribbean. I thought you were talking about going overseas. I forget there's a town of Holland that's around.
Oh.
Yeah, there is. I've been there in the last week, too. They don't have any good chocolate there,
All they
though.
do is speak Dutch language.
Have a good night. Thanks,
folks.
guys.
Here's two originals.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
File.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
A minute?
Yeah, guys, we ended up going for 28 days. Lisa can't look.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is nice.
Oh, all right. Perfect timing. We've got Carson on here, so.
Hey, Carson. How you doing?
Welcome aboard.
So do you want to just say for the record that he's here now, Ed?
Yep. For the record, Carson Steuben has joined us. And he is here for our
Oh.
5:45 meeting.
Okay.
Have a good night. Take care. Good to see you. So Carson, just to let you know where we're at here, well, actually first, Carson, no, it's kind of hard to see, you're just kind of seeing the room here, but we can introduce you to the other members that are here. We just don't have Ted here this evening. Oh,
Eric Gaspar, Karsten, nice to meet you.
yeah, I think our
Nice
screen,
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, what happened to the screen? Holy
I think
mackerel.
Bruce changed.
I don't know either.
Oh, wow, it's him over and over.
Maybe Bruce just needs to change it back to the cameras in the room, so. So thanks for jumping on, Carson. I know you just got done a long day teaching there. So where we're at on the agenda is, we just wrapped up the public hearing for number 4 on here, which was 14 Cedar Lake Drive, so you're at a perfect time. Our next 2 public hearings, within the past day, we actually received written requests that they would like to continue to our next hearing. So we're actually gonna have a little gap, and I apologize for you guys in the room, because when you came in and we gave you a time, it was before we had to move our meeting up, so we already gave you that time, and of course, we didn't know these people were gonna wait a little bit, so you get to hang out with us for a little while. You would've had to anyways, but, so, I don't know if you just wanna, right, for the
Waiting
record,
the
yeah.
5:45, but they asked for a written continuance.
I mean, actually, we've never really even opened it. We've been postponing
Okay.
the hearing per their request.
All right, so we're at number 7, and we
No.
need to wait 6:05.
We're at number 5.
Yeah, so just for anyone watching, number 5 on our agenda, 505 Main Street, notice of intent, demolition of a commercial building, replacement with a multifamily residential building, associated parking. DEP file number 300-1152 has asked that the hearing is postponed. We did follow up with an email and asked them, just a little feedback, what's going on with the project, why they've been asking for that. We haven't heard back from them yet, but they did ask that it's postponed to our next meeting, which is March 9th. That meeting will start at 6:30.
Well, they haven't done anything there, right?
No.
No, it's just.
No, there's no changes. The plans we've received, we just,
Yeah.
we don't really know. They've just
On
been asking.
hold.
Yeah, we're on hold. So Carson, just so you're aware, before you jumped on, we were talking a little bit about changing the meetings. So we will have the meetings at 6:30 through May, starting with the next one. And then our next site visit schedule, we are gonna do that March 1st, which is a Wednesday. And at 9 o'clock will be, we meet here at Town Hall and head over to the first site. I will, the Friday before, I always send out an email with the site visit schedule.
I'll send it out.
Erin will be sending that out on my behalf, because I will be out of the office, so.
Out of the office, huh?
Yeah, and just so every member's aware, Erin's going away tomorrow morning. She'll be back in the office Thursday next week, and then I'll be out of the office after Tuesday next week. And I'll be back the day
That
before,
Wednesday.
nice and tan for our site visits.
Excellent.
Where are you going?
I'll not be tan.
My mom's down in Marco Island, Florida, so we're going to visit, so. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, we do have a little gap until 6:05, but I just want to make sure at 5:55, we just say that the other one is postponed here, so. I do have a couple other things. Let's see what I got here.
Maybe Curway will come in quicker.
Yeah.
Minutes, can we? No, can't, right?
No.
Okay.
No, so, I don't know if you remember 413 Main Street, where we had that parking lot failure, in the back, in the restoration, we've issued the enforcement order to allow them to be able to do that work to remediate what's in the stream. They did ask for a, written extension, just because of, well, right now it's been warm, but it's been so cold, and all the work they have to do is with hand tools. They're asking for a 45-day extension to allow them to be able to do that, when, weather is better and the.
Better than this?
I know, right now it's perfect, but, I mean, I don't know, they also said too, they have to get a crane, et cetera, so yeah. They say that, the restoration requires removing all sediment deposits greater than 2 inches by manually collecting sediment with hand tools and buckets. They take no exception to the means and methods. However, we've been monitoring the weather to identify a dry period of sustained temperatures around 60 degrees to schedule and complete the work.
60?
Temperatures have routinely been at or below freezing at night, which has kept water temperatures low during the day, and we feel that working with hand tools within the wetland resources during the winter puts our crew's safety at risk and significantly reduces productivities. Therefore, they're requesting a 45-day extension. They'll continue to monitor the weather and schedule the crew and equipment, crane truck and/or long-reach excavator to complete the work as soon as practical. So, I mean, it is gonna drop again. I mean, I don't think anyone could have predicted we were gonna have this warmth right now. So,
I looked at the spot, it doesn't look too bad. You know,
yeah, nothing's migrating over there
Yeah.
as far as I know, so.
Stop and get some cheese and walk out, you stop and get some cheese at the new cheese shop and walk out back?
Yes, that's exactly
Isn't it
correct.
nice in there?
Yeah. The cheddar, the cloth wrap cheddar is fantastic.
Okay, well, I'll take that under
Next time you
advisement.
bring some for the group.
What?
Next time you bring some for the group.
Wouldn't make it here.
So I-
Bring some chocolate.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I want his chocolate out.
So where does 45 days put us?
What?
Oh, geez.
Oh, we had the date.
Yes, I had the date. I think it would bring them, I think they had it till mid-February or end of February. It was end of February, gave them the 45 days approximately. So another 45 days would put them March, into April.
Okay.
Sorry, I know, I looked at it and I forgot to write it down. So if everyone's in agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
We,
Yeah.
at one point, asked them if they needed 90 days, and they said, no,
60.
45 would do, 60.
Yeah, 60.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
No problem.
Do we need an official something for that?
Is there anything else?
Do we need an official vote on that, Ed?
It is changing what you had.
Voted on the 45?
What?
Didn't we
There
vote
was
on
an
the 40?
official vote on the 45.
It was?
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to
So you want to change it to 50?
No. we
give them an
gave
extension. You're giving them an extension. I would vote on it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we extend to an additional 45 days with regards to 413 Main Street.
I second that.
Discussion? Anybody in the audience? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
You're in favor.
Karsten?
Karsten, you in favor? Yeah. Yep. There we go, Karsten.
There we go,
All
first
right.
vote on the board.
First one.
First vote.
All the Kerboy people.
What do you got, Beck?
We do
Well,
Kerboy Auto?
well,
They just came.
yeah, so I know you guys just walked in, but we have a gap because we had a couple. Yeah, all right, come on up.
Do you have another sheet?
Oh,
Yep.
that's full, huh?
I do.
Holy mackerel, full sheet?
We cleared the room.
I don't know that we've had a full sheet since pre-COVID.
No, we've had a full sheet a few times.
Since
Where's my sheet?
post-COVID?
Yep,
You had him in there.
I know, I do have a sheet.
I can sign it when you're at the end, how's that?
Okay,
wanna keep
you,
moving?
you keep going and I'll find the sheet and I'll pass it to you.
It's right here, guys?
How you doing, gentlemen?
I do have it.
Perfect timing.
For a second.
Where'd you put him?
Every page. Here it is.
May I hand out some handouts?
Oh, perfect, thank you.
You just sign that one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One, just-
He was just done today, so.
Fresh off the press.
I do have one spare, if anybody in the audience wants it, just ask.
Yeah.
You guys want me to start? You guys gonna start? How do you wanna handle it?
Well, let him start, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Do you just
Yeah, it's hard.
recognize that we do have a new commissioner? His name is Karsten and he's on virtual here, virtual.
Pleasure. Good evening, Kirsten. Gary Magnuson, I'm one of the principals of CMG Environmental. We were here 3 weeks ago to discuss some concerns at 71 Mashpog Road. The outcome of that meeting was a request for information from this board to evaluate and provide some mapping as to the status of operations at the 71 Mashpog Road property. So, I looked back at, there's two concerns here. One is the house at 71 Mashpog Road. Sergey had recently put Ukrainian refugee in that house and had done some work around it, including regrading the yard. there's a thought, and I haven't confirmed or denied, that it's within the jurisdictional area and required a notice of intent. That, we haven't gotten to that aspect. It's likely, but we haven't gotten to that aspect. So that was the reason that we're originally here. There's a secondary concern from last, I want to say June or July of 2022, where there might have been some changes in operations at the property, which may, in the position, or in the board says there could have required notification. And that was June 16th, 2022 letter. So I looked back at the June 16th letter and I looked at the current operations and I said, I think the easiest way to do this is to pull together some ortho photos, which is one of the concerns in the June letter, and outline some areas. So if you would allow me, I'll spend about 2 minutes and run through these aerial photos for you guys.
Yep.
And then we can have a discussion. Is that fair?
I don't know.
Okay, photograph number 1, 2005 aerial photo. There's a red line on this photo that shows the area where auto storage occurred in 2005. We then took the magic of CAD and other tools to calculate the area of that. That happens to be 20.6 acres. If you move to figure 1A, it's the exact same site. It's in 2008 and 2009. That is when the Kerboys had started or had moved off all of the cars. As Sergey said last time, there was about 8,000 cars there prior? Yes. There's about 8,000 cars. We started working with the Kerboys in 2006 due to some contamination found in drinking water wells. And then they moved the cars off-site. So in 2008-9 is a pretty good indication of the site, still an active scrapyard, junkyard, but majority of the cars removed. The next photo is 2013-14 ortho. Oh, I apologize, I need to back up. The 2008-9 ortho, same exact thing, 20.6 acres of area where cars used to be stored or were stored. 18.6 of that is areas that had cars historically but didn't have them at that date, and 2 acres of that had cars at that time. So now you move to the 2013.
The red square?
Red is cars current, black is original cars from '05.
Okay.
Red, black line, original cars from '05, red line, cars current. So the next one is 2013-14 ortho. That one, same black lines, which come up to the 20.6. The areas of car storage at that time are about 2.1 acres. The next one is the most current ortho that we could come up with, 2021. Currently, 6.5 acres has autos on it, 14.1 do not, 20.6. The key point that I would like to bring to the attention of the board is the red line where the majority of the cars are stored is inside the black line where cars had historically been stored in 2005. Does anyone have a question relative to that statement? If not, I'll move to the last one. The last one shows the house at number 71 on the left side of the figure, the area where the silt fence has been installed, and the area of disturbance. We did go out, as I told you guys, we could not get a physical survey and wetlands mapping or anything by the time of this meeting, but we did go out and field verify some ties so we could delineate this area where the disturbance had occurred and where the silt fence is in place. We did pull some ties from the open channel. And the other thing that I want to point out, if you would allow me to, you can go to the first figure, is the blue line.
What's the date on the last one?
That is the new aerial. I'm sorry, you should have put that is the 2021 aerial.
That's the 2021.
I'm sorry, that is, yes, that's missing.
So
if you would allow me to, one more point of
The
clarification.
the one before is also a 2021, right?
That, so if you look,
What's the next to the last one?
I'm sorry. So the next to the last one is 2021 ortho. And if you look in the lower left corner, it says, there's a circle and it says area of work, see figure 1D. All we did is blow that up for you guys so you could see the house. It's the same exact photo.
Oh, it is. So
Yes.
all those cars that I see in the last photo are in the first, in the one, the next to the last.
Exactly. Yeah, you should be able to, if you could, I can't make it out, but yeah, the red car is the red car and the white car is the white car. Same photo.
Yeah.
What we were trying to do there, because of the large.
Get a price on that Chevy.
That goes to this guy. One other point of clarification. If you notice the pond and the blue line coming out, and then the blue line turns to D for drainage, that is a culvert, a piped culvert. We were able to field verify that. Again, I wasn't able to field verify a lot, but we did go out, we field verified that, and that is measured from the two buildings. It's like 500 feet south of those buildings. So that is a culverted pipe through that area where it's shown in black. Everybody see that on the figure? So that's a culvert. So,
I see it in blue.
yes, it comes out of the pond in blue,
Right, and then right there's black.
turns black,
And
and
then
that's where there's a head wall and it turns into so it's a stream channel above that. It's a culvert, it's a pipe after that.
So it goes right through,
Pipe goes right through the property.
what size pipe is it?
It appears to be a 36. It's kind of hard to tell. There was a lot of
Is it corrugated metal?
concrete.
The pipe is concrete?
Concrete. It's an RCP. I can tell you that much. The vegetation was a little rough, so I didn't get all the way up to the pipe. I got, within 30 feet of it.
Now, the water is flowing to the pond.
No, water in this figure flows right to left on this figure. From the pond
You just
to
check and see if I
Mashpugger.
know, huh?
Well, I always have to do, I put my hand up, but, yeah, so it does flow northerly here.
Yeah.
So, we did what you asked us to do, come to you with some figures to show what's going on. In my humble opinion, I believe that it has been a junkyard since the 30s. It continues to operate as a junkyard, and I don't believe there's been any disturbances that would have required filing of a notice of intent, other than the work on the last page, which is the grading around the house.
Are there other wetlands on the property?
So as I said prior, I'm not a wetlands expert. I'm a hydrogeologist, and I deal with the hazardous waste contamination issues. I am not aware of any flagged wetlands or defined wetlands. The area around that stream, clearly must have some wetland vegetation around it, but it's as
But the stream, it opens up where it's blue, it's not a pipe any longer?
where it's blue, it is a stream, yeah. So there will be there's clearly, I would assume, some wetland vegetation proximal to that. But it's a
How do we,
defined
going
channel.
forward, how do we protect that?
So there are actually wetlands you can see from the road just north of the developed area where the garages are, just north of that. It appears there's a stream that goes underneath the road and discharges out on the other side there.
Oh, I think so, up, kind of in between the two red areas there? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
there's
that
something-
general area,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
something in the
Close to
road.
the road? I don't know where you,
It is closer to the road, yeah.
to the
Yeah.
road.
I think,
Yeah.
I think I know what she's talking about. I think she's talking about this general area. Yeah, somewhere down in here. I think there's a little something coming across. But again,
Well, I don't know where you're looking at, but
I believe you're
it's
talking about.
like in here,
Yep,
this
that's what-
area.
that's
Oh,
right-
okay,
That's
yeah,
right,
yeah,
just point out,
Yeah.
somewhere in that area.
yeah.
So, I mean, I can't speak to Sergey, but I think that's a very fair question. How do we protect that area?
Why don't we take a look at it before we do anything? And see, you know, how pertinent it is, how it sits now. It would seem to me, because we want to protect it, but we don't want to, you know, but we need to see it. Unless you want to have a wetland scientist look at it and decide.
Well, I don't know what, you know, how Sergey wants to proceed here. Yeah, I don't know how you want to proceed. I think it's fair and reasonable, and don't take this with any disrespect. I think it's fair and reasonable to look at the house, because I believe he should have filed to talk to you about that. I think it's, I don't want to use the word unreasonable, but I'm not sure there's a trigger requiring you guys access to the back of the property to look at things that he's been doing all along that are consistent and potentially not any violations. And again, please don't take that as a negative. I want to be careful in committing to something that Sergey might not need to commit to, that's all.
You know, the site has been polluted, as we know, right? Okay? We want to protect the wetlands. That's all we're interested in. We can't do that without having you guys, and it is you are working in proximity to a wetland, and you don't get grandfathered with that. You don't get grandfathered with that. If you're violating a wetland, you're not grandfathered. You can talk about it all day long. So we'd like to take a look at it, or you have you get a wetland scientist and take a look at it? So that because
Take a
we're
look at it.
interested
Would
in
you like
protecting
to, so you'd like to have the areas delineated? Is that what you're asking?
it. Beg your pardon?
You would want the areas delineated, the resource areas? Is that what you're asking?
Right.
Okay.
You guys can figure out how you want to do it.
Yeah, the area obviously was polluted before.
I'm not
had
talking about the-
possession. Right, but I would like to mention also,
Yeah.
if you mention the word was polluted, after it was cleaned, we spent a lot of money to clean it. And through the whole area, even where it's the wetland, we remove not from a wetland, but overall from the whole property, 4 tractor trailers of tires. So I really care about
Yeah.
and pay attention to it and try
So
not to
then
disturb.
so then you'll be really enthusiastic about us taking a look at it.
I walked up there the other day.
Yeah.
It looks, for a junkyard, it looks really good. There's no silt, there's no erosion. And I want to be cautious on what I commit to help Sergey to do and how far it goes. That's all. I think your question is a absolutely reasonable question.
You
I
have a
don't have the
stream
answer.
flowing through a junkyard,
Correct.
and because you were a good boy before, we shouldn't worry about it. But there was a bad boy in there before that, and he was polluting. So all I'm saying is, we're responsible for the wetland in Sturbridge. We want, we're not trying to take this in any great direction. All we want to do is protect the wetlands, take a look at them, see if there's things that can be done. If that's the case, fine.
Can I just point out, I'd just like to, if you look at the 2013, 2014 ortho, if you pull that one up, the area north of the perennial stream outlined in the black there, you can see how that area grew back, all that vegetation in there. You can see those. See all that? I want you to,
Yep.
those areas within jurisdiction, all that vegetation was removed. It was a junkyard before, but then it grew back and it needed to be altered to return it to a junkyard. That alteration and then the reusing of it as a junkyard it would have been a trigger for review. And that's what I spoke to DEP about. I just wanted to discuss that. And because there's riverfront
Right.
there, it's a
Yeah.
resource
Yeah.
area. So that's really the concern. Had it been, it transitioned immediately and you continued to use it, I think we'd be having a different conversation. But
Yeah.
it grew back for a long time. You can see that, there's evergreens in there, there's deciduous stuff that doesn't have the leaves on it. All of that alteration within resource area, and because we have a wetland, by the road too, there's some extended jurisdiction from that. That alteration required the review, the permitting with you guys. So, but right, you moved in right after they stopped and, didn't require doing all that work, right, we'd be having a different conversation right now, I think.
I understand your point, but around the house, if you didn't cut the grass for 3-4 years, now the vegetation grow up to a second floor. So at that point, I'm not allowed, obviously
Oh,
it's
yeah,
too high for a lawnmower. What in that case? I cannot I cannot even get in the house, or?
No, I don't
we
think
gonna-
that you would definitely be able to get approval to do those activities, but any type
in
of
the
work.
house?
Right, had the lawn stayed a lawn, you kept mowing it. Mowing a lawn is exempt, any type of normal landscaping, but had that,
How close is wetland to the house?
it's further, it's
It's-
further
it's
from
far.
there, yeah.
100 feet.
Yeah, see,
The house
you
isn't
guys
the
are-
major
you're
issue
trying to
here.
use
It's
it as
not
a
the major
rationale.
issue.
Look like it's all start after the kid did, And again, on the first picture or not the last picture, you can see right next to the house, that tree, you can see with the roof, it's over to the
Oh,
roof.
yeah, and those are minor things,
So-
because it was a yard, and you turned it back to a yard for a house, that's not a big deal. The back part's the area that's the concern.
But that's why we're here. You called us.
Because we saw that, correct.
Right.
Yep, but this summer, when the transfer of the license came in, it got brought up, the commission, we had started looking into that, and then when this happened, it kind of brought it back to attention that there's these other concerns out here that we were made aware of.
I guess just to my untrained eye, if you look at the junkyard in 2009, right? The red area that's closest to the culvert versus where the stream starts to go into the culvert versus where we are today. Obviously, there's been a re-encroachment of that wetland based on the 2021 ortho versus where we were in 2009. And it looked like it pulled back a little bit based on what you have here in 2013, further from the stream. And so as I look at this, right, and trust me, I have empathy for your position, I get it. But, when I look at something like this, and obviously we're tasked with protecting the wetland, if we're going back to 2008, 2009, and we are then smash cutting to 2021, and we are getting closer to the wetland from where we were in 2008, 2009, that seems to me that that's an issue we need to, we
Yeah.
at least need to look to see if it needs to be protected. It might not be an issue, there could be nothing there, but, based on what the progression of things, in 2005, obviously, it was a big old mess and it needed to be fixed. In 2009, it was close to the stream, it got a little bit further away in 2013, and then as of 2021, we're right up against it again. Right? And I'm just looking at that stream, right, right there, from what I see in the red and the blue lines and all that stuff. You see what I'm talking about, Gary?
He's talking about right here.
just if you look,
Oh, yeah, I guess I could see, yeah.
you know? So it just looks like we're encroaching closer, and maybe it's not a problem. Like, none of this, I always assume positive intent, right? My default position isn't that you come out to do anything wrong. My assumption is that's fine, but we also have to trust but verify, right? And in something like this, where I look at it, you know, and I'm not a wetland scientist either, I'm a car salesman. So I'm more closely aligned to you than I am to you, right? But, you know, when I see something like this, it looks like somebody should get some eyes on it, right? And then just make sure that we're not creating any additional problems, right? So that's my thought on that, based on what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you completely.
Does that make
Clearly,
sense? Does that
makes
seem
sense,
fair?
clearly understand. So as your approach, you would like to come and see. Can you put A, B, C, what do you want to see, what are you looking for when you come?
Wetlands.
You know,
We
I
wanna see the
understand.
wetlands.
If
We
it's a
don't wanna see-
wetland, how close car to the wetland, you know, how close trees, what, you know, I want to see your approach. I don't want to, if you come on the property, I want to follow your plan, your idea, what are you looking for? Why not?
Well, we're looking to see that the wetlands and the flora and fauna around the wetlands are protected. And so, yeah, there's a liability of us coming on site. I mean, we may say, you know, you got to leave this area alone, or, you know.
Well, that's exactly what I'm asking. This area is how many feet we considering? If you put that on a paper, that would be easier to look at it. And
Yeah, and first, if, you know, wetlands delineated, and then we can get buffer zones on a plan, CMG can get those on a plan and come
Yeah.
out and take a look. That'll help guide that conversation better, is be able to have those buffer zones based off of where the
what kind of
resource is.
plans you looking for?
Just something like
How many
this.
feet?
Yeah,
we'd
something
have
like
to-
this, and I can work with Gary. I think Gary knows what,
Yeah, we'd have to have a
Yeah.
wetland scientist go out here and flag this. And we would take this plan, and we would have the surveyors tie those flags in. Then we would take this plan and we would put lines on here. We would put 25-foot buffers, 50-foot buffers, 100-foot buffers, 200-foot buffers. Then we could come back to this commission, or if we decide to give them access, they could walk the property. That's what they're looking for. And to be very frank, my concern is that the commission comes back and says, you can't do anything within 200 feet of the water, or the waterway. And
You can be assured that that would not be the case. 200 feet is, 200 feet is used to protect, but if there's an existing business, well, ask Eric, you know, normally we deal in 25 and 50.
well, Riverfront's a little different,
And River-
but there was
yeah.
an existing use there prior. So there
Correct.
was some disturbance there, so that might, you know, grant additional abilities to do things within those areas, but.
We're not looking to cause hassles. To what Ed's point is, you know, the 100 to 200 foot is so we can keep put eyes on that to make sure that we're not putting ourselves, or putting the wetlands, I should say, in any type of precarious position, right? The 100 foot obviously is state given, and we take that pretty seriously, right? As we should, right? We take the 200 foot seriously as well, but we have that's more. We want to be in an advisory position to make sure that we're not doing anything that could potentially cause some really big problems, right? So, I mean, I've been on the commission 3.5 years, 4 years now almost. I don't think, we have asked for alterations within the 200 foot. I don't want to tell you that we haven't asked for alterations, but we haven't denied a project between 100 and 200 feet because, you know, well, we're just going to stick to this 200 foot line, right? You know, we try to be reasonable, and we're not trying to hassle anybody. We want to be fair, but we also want to make sure that at the end of the day, we're not putting the wetlands in a position where it's going to cause problems for other things in the aquifer, right?
I think we're all on board with that approach.
Yeah.
I'm just cautious of how we get there. How about this? Because this is getting beyond my expertise, why don't I'll work with Sergey, we'll hire a wetlands scientist. We'll go out and do a we will walk with the wetland scientists, we'll get this figured out. Then we'll probably come back to you here with the wetland scientist to do the presentation, not me, because he knows these regs better than I do, or she, whoever we decide to hire. And then we'll further that discussion. Is that reasonable to you guys?
That's reasonable. I have, Becky, you have a problem with that?
No, I think that's a good approach.
That's a good
I'm just
approach.
looking at the calendar. Our next meeting is March 9th.
Probably gonna need at least 6 weeks.
Yeah, can I have to the next one, just to get the guys out to flag it?
That would be March 30th. We'd ask that you have everything here at least 7 days prior to that. I mean, you should be able to do that, get that.
So,
can
so
review it in advance.
3/30/23 is your meeting, you would want mapping by 3/23/23. No, March, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
March 22nd, the latest.
End of day.
So that way we can get it to the board to look at in advance and have a productive conversation, you know?
I'll do I'm not gonna commit to that, because I don't know how busy the wetlands guys are, but we'll try, and if
And the other thing,
if in a week I
don't
don't,
weather-wise.
right, if we don't have an answer, I'll get back to you guys and say, we have a contract signed, but they can't get into it until X. Is that fair?
That's fair. I have no problem with that.
You good?
Roy, you all right with that? Carson?
And by the way, we did share with the board, we did sample the drinking water well at 71, and it was perfectly clean. No contamination. Well, for the contaminants we test for. We don't do
Boy.
potability.
Thank you for coming in, guys.
Thanks for taking us on order, and sorry if I held you guys up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Eric's got 9 minutes, turns into a pumpkin.
What?
Yep.
Eric has got 9 minutes before he turns into a pumpkin.
Where are we now?
All right, so
Number 6 has a written
20?
request for continuation.
130 Lane 9 is a written request. So we're on to 605. So
Yep.
come on up, guys, sorry. Yep.
My mother-in-law's last name is McGargle, spelled differently, but I don't think that creates a conflict, so I can.
Let's hope not.
Okay, so I'll just start for this one. So this is a request for determination of applicability for 88 McGargle Road. We did do a site visit out here. We have a new member on. Carson, I'm sharing the plan for everyone to look at. Some of the members did have the opportunity to go out, do a site visit. Actually, it was just Ed and Ted, so Ed's here. I'll just quickly summarize the whole project. What they're doing, they have repairs that they need to make to the existing footings underneath the cottage. In addition, there's 8 trees out there, dead trees that they'd like to remove, a shed they'd like to relocate, and some work to the driveway out there. Some excavation to remove, a hump in the middle of that, repave that, and a small expansion. So looking at the site plan, we have on the right-hand side here, we have Lead Mine Pond. Across McGargle Road, there are some wetlands in that back area too. Just going through this here, if I missed anything. Just for the record, obviously, we have proof of butter notifications in the legal ad. As I said, we did the site visit out there. We've got some photos here. Based off what we saw and what they're proposing, I don't see any concerns with the project. I'd recommend moving forward with approval here. One of the things we discussed a little bit on the site was with the removal of the trees, especially there's one closer to the resource areas, maybe adding 2 deciduous trees out there. Applicants seemed agreeable to that. So provided the commission feels comfortable moving forward, my recommendation would be to issue the determination of applicability. It would be a negative number 3 under the state act. And the conditions, we just have some minor pre-work and sign-off conditions. Install a straw wattle as they have at the limit of work shown in the plan. We typically don't include stump and root removal, as we talked about, especially close to resource areas. And then just to add the 2 deciduous trees within 25 feet of the lake. The standard that the commission's used is about 1.5 inches at the breast height there, the diameter of the tree. With that, it would be a positive 2B. We wouldn't be doing any resource area approval here.
Positive what?
2B.
2B.
Yep. because we're not doing a resource area approval. We're not saying we're approving a wetland line here. And then a positive number 5 with the conditions that I noted.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add for the project. I figured I could.
You highlighted all the trees.
I forgot one, I know, yeah. I knew you'd see that. If anyone has any questions.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Just if you find that that hump is not suitable to be removed with a Kubota, you might want to come back to us and let us know what. If
Okay.
you're going to have to blast or something.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Okay.
In other words, if it's ledge,
Yeah.
well, I'm hoping it's not, but if it is, we're gonna just leave it.
Okay.
It'll
all
stay.
right. Yeah.
We're not looking to move that kind of earth.
Don't ruin your Kubota on it
Yeah,
either. That's
exactly.
the other thing.
Oh, no.
Can I ask a question about the wattles? As far as, because is there a certain diameter? I guess they have 9-inch and 12-inch.
I think a
Straw
9 inch
walls.
is
You
fine.
got a flat lot, so a 9-inch would be fine.
9 is fine, okay. And then, do I have to do the silt fence with that as well, or just the wattle?
No, just a while.
Just the wattle, okay.
If Carson,
What?
if Carson has any questions.
Okay.
Carson, do you have any
Carson?
questions?
don't. No, I don't. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are you seeing this, Carson?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I don't have any questions.
I don't either.
Anyone in the public want to speak on this?
There's no one on the line here.
No,
Motion to close the public hearing at 88 McGargle Road.
I'll second that.
discussion? Any discussion on closing the public hearing? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carson Tubin in favor, Ed Goodwin in favor, good.
All right, with regards to the RDA for 88 McGargle Road, I'd like to make a motion to issue a DOA of a negative number 3 with the agent's conditions, a positive 2B, and a positive number 5 with the conditions noted above.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I had one thought. Make sure you're on your own land. We don't authorize cutting of trees on somebody else's land. I know you have
Oh,
issues.
yes,
So I-
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
no.
Yeah, it's all been surveyed out.
yeah, okay.
It was surveyed last year,
Yep,
Okay.
last year, right?
Yeah.
Year before.
On that, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Carson's in favor. Yep.
Yep.
All right, 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask, just, so is it 10 days now before we can start? Is there,
It is 10 business day appeal period.
okay, so do nothing for 10
Start
days?
under the risk of someone appealing it.
Okay, okay,
You
so
know
just
what I'm
wait.
saying? You see what I'm saying? You can go out there and,
And do we have some numbers that we're supposed to post? That's that right there?
I got it on
Okay,
here for you. Yep,
awesome.
Yep.
Thank you very much. You guys have made this process easy. Which
We get that all the time. We get that all the time.
I see what you have to do, and we have not made it easy.
Thank you,
Thank you
appreciate it.
very, very much.
Dear friends.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Take care.
My big feet, man.
All right.
I think this is probably going to take more than 2 minutes, so I will, for the record, I will watch and provide a Mullins report before the next meeting, if this does get continued.
Okay, yep.
Okay? Apologize for having to leave, but my 11-year-old is going to be performing in a concert, so I need to, that takes precedent. Thank you all.
All right.
Roy Bishop approve.
Have a good night, guys.
We are now beyond 6:15, so we're at 120 Breakneck Road.
Did we do anything? Did we do anything for this one?
What?
Did we do anything for this?
Was that the lane 9 one?
Yeah,
They
no.
asked for a continuation.
So we'll have to do,
Yeah, no, we mentioned it after we got done with the Kerbway stuff there.
Okay, notice of intent, construction of a single-family home, barn, and associated site work.
So I have 2 plans I can pull up. Have a good night. I have both plans. We colored the big one that shows where the wetland lines are and everything, if you want to start with that one. I know that your septic one has like contours and things like that on there. So however you want, I can put them up, so they can see them. If you just want to generally go over the project.
Sure,
we can
yeah,
do it that
absolutely, thank
way.
you.
Let me just share this so Karsten can see it here. Share. Share.
Your name is?
My name is Neil Jackson, JMP Engineering Services. I'm here representing Old Green Acres LLC.
I'm just gonna kind of zoom in a little bit here, so it's a big property.
Yep. So this is a plan that was prepared by Sherman Frederick and Palmer, showing the wetlands, the riverfront, the 25, the 50, the 100, and the 200-foot offsets. Our company did the actual site plan for the house, septic well, driveway, and the associated grading. The larger plan is showing all the resource areas and offsets and limits of work that we're proposing.
Okay.
You want me to put the other one up too, or
Yeah, I mean, if you want to
just go to it quickly?
Yep, the other one.
So let me just zoom in here.
This is actually showing the proposed grading. We're trying to limit the grading. It's going to be a walkout. That way we can minimize the grading towards the resource area. Kind of slopes off, but if we do a walkout, we can put a retaining wall and not do a lot of grading, as much grading between the house and the barn. So we're proposing all our work within the 100 and 200-foot buffers to the BPW. No work is proposed within the 100-foot buffer.
I'll go back so we can see our
Yeah.
colors here. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
so.
Yeah, so just, to go over what's in the notes here, this had started, the property owner had gone out, done some clearing, didn't think they were within jurisdiction. We stopped him, he agreed, he stopped, he hired the firms to help him put this plan together. He does own the larger parcel, and this was divided off, this parcel was divided off from that larger parcel more recently, so he can do the single-family house here, still have the agricultural uses, that they're interested in having. I think originally it was gonna be a smaller lot he was gonna carve off, but you need the 5 acres for the non-commercial agriculture. So they've got the proposed barn and the horse paddock. We did do a site visit out there, brought the board out there. A couple of members took a look at it. I did go back out afterwards to walk the lines out there. I did ask for a little bit of supplemental information that they did give me. Just had some questions about the test borings associated with the isolated wetland in the back. So they did provide those. A couple of wetland flags I couldn't find. I don't know if, they refreshed the flags out there.
They did,
Yeah, they
yes,
did.
yep,
And the
Sherman
ones that were
Frederick did.
missing were close to the road. I don't know if they got pulled off or not. But for what we need to do here today, I think that's fine. I would just say, we're not gonna do a resource area approval for all the wetland flags that are shown on here. A lot of them are, one, not relevant to the project. Two, like where we got to wetland flag 8 was kind of a question, but it doesn't change the jurisdiction here for this project. So I would say that for the wetland flags for approval, I would start down here. I think it was wetland flag 4 that I found. See how this one's closest anyways? The wetland, generally follows that line that looks like on here. I just can't verify them because they weren't there. But it's not gonna impact this. So I would say with the approval, I'd say wetland flag 4 to wetland flag 8 over here. This area over here, in time of year, it's hard because you're not augering, you're not looking at things, but based off vegetation, all of this was part of a logging operation before.
Yep.
The vegetation was similar. There was a lot of grasses, hummocks out there, things like that, but it doesn't change what we're doing here today, so I don't think we need to worry about it. So I'd end at wetland flag 8, and over here with the isolated vegetated wetland, I would just say flags 13 through 15. That's what projects that buffer zone. Just because it's time of year, I don't feel comfortable verifying all of this, and it's not relevant for here. So I would leave it at that. Like it was mentioned, we're only looking at local bylaw here. They're not working within 100 feet. So it's just that they put the existing tree line on here that they kind of cut out. I know they're working with DPW to get a driveway permit. They're looking for 2 driveways over here outside of jurisdiction. So when I originally did the notes, I didn't have some of that information, but I have that now. So just the one other thing, and I've talked to Neil about this a little bit, and we brought it up to the property owners. I mean, this was a logging operation before. There's a lot of logging roads established out there. When we were walking the line at Wetland Flag 10, there's a stream crossing. I took a picture of it. I believe it's from the existing logging operation, but it looks like they're probably using it with some ATVs. You know, that's something that, if he liked, he could come back in the future. He'd have to file a state NOI to get permission to maybe put a crossing there if the commission wanted that. But at this time, I just recommend that we include a condition of putting up some boulders out there, or
So it can't be used.
so it can't be used. You can still walk through there, you know, anything that's passive, but no recreational vehicle use to go through that. So I just recommend we add that as a condition prior to start of work in this permit, and get those out there. And he's, you know, he's got some equipment. I think he can
Yeah, he
make that
can
happen.
set some boulders out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so my thoughts were right. We just have that done prior to the start of work. So the commission was satisfied with the project. You know, our standard conditions, we have like pre-work, you know, setting up a site visit, all the things, recording the permit, et cetera, limit of work line to be checked, adding the boulders out there. I don't know if the commission wants boulders or bollards, or just say boulders. I think there's probably boulders.
Boulders, yeah. There's
perfect.
plenty of boulders out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's plenty of boulders.
We do require a bond for new single-family house construction. It's either a, you know, cash bond, or it can be like an insurance bond. It's $5,000. That way, we make sure that all the conditions and everything gets done
Okay,
correctly.
yeah.
It's released upon issuance of a certificate of compliance.
Okay.
So the commission does ask for that. And then I would just also recommend that there was a perpetual condition for the boulders unless approval has been granted by the commission to remove them, i.e. meaning he gets a permit to put a bridge in or something like that.
Right.
So we'd have to leave those there, and that would carry with the deed to the new property owner. I think it's for his son, so,
Yeah, it is his son.
Yeah.
He's planning on building a
Yeah.
house.
yeah.
All right. Eric? First of all, there's nobody in the audience. We don't really have them online, right?
I think
Okay.
it's just Karsten on there.
And Carson back. Okay. Roy, you want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
I'm Ed Goodwin in favor. All right. Now,
Make a motion to approve the notice of intent for 120 Breakneck Road, construction of a single-family home, barn, and associated site work with the agent's stipulations and conditions as advertised.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. A second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
All in favor?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
I appreciate your help, and I do appreciate Aaron and Becky's help. You were very helpful.
She's
Oh,
awesome.
thank you.
So, thank you.
It was awesome.
You too.
I'll sign in on my way out. I apologize.
One of those guys, huh? Becky, what do we got?
You can sign in Eric Gasper if you want.
Yeah, the only thing is agent update, so just a few things.
Right?
I did ask for an update on the 110 Brookfield Road, 226 Brookfield Road matters. I was told that Mark Farrell of Green Hill Engineering is working on that. I have spoken to him about that, and I do think that maybe for the next meeting, we should ask them to come in with something for discussion. And maybe ask for a site visit
Okay,
prior
great.
to that, or after that, whoever you
Good.
would like me to ask.
Yeah.
Would you like to do a site visit after they come in, or before?
I'm
I
not
haven't
gonna
been
do it
made-
before.
I haven't been made aware that the trespass violation has been released, so maybe just ask them to come to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he's hired Mark, we're doing what we're supposed to
Yep,
do.
yep. Just a reminder, any of the members who want to sign up for the MACC, we've got to get that going. if you'd like to. We've got a
Yeah.
few people already. Quick thing, we already talked about the 6:30 start for the meetings. We already talked about the site visit dates. We'll do March 1st, and then we'll figure it out after that for the next meetings.
Yep.
Quick update, Ed's aware, the Long Pond boundary survey that we had working on, our land surveyor did come back and, is in agreement with the past opinions that have been given about where the property line is. So there's a few more things that are being done for that, but it
Good.
appears that should be wrapping up soon.
Great.
That's all I have.
Motion?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second? Second? All in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor? We're all set. Carson? Well, welcome to the committee, Carson. Great job. We couldn't have done it without you.
Glad to
Look at
have
this.
ya.
True.
I see.